dressing room is not a happy dressing room, and that is a great thing.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Let's Talk Tottenham. And today I am so excited, a little bit nervous. This is the first ever live episode of Let's Talk Tottenham together. And yeah, it's going to be 7 a.m. on Mondays and from this great state of Michigan where I live. My name is Anthony. I'll be your host. And today we've got an awesome show lined up. We've got conversations about Ludogorets. We've got conversations about Chelsea, text submissions, audio submissions, and our first ever live caller, the Irish Yid, David. He's going to be with us a little bit later in the show. So glad that you're here. If you want to get in on the conversation, you can do that in the chat. I'll be checking that out from time to time and trying to get your comments as part of the show. I'll also be looking at our Discord server. That's actually the best way that you can get involved, is to sign up or join our Discord server. So let me just show you what that looks like here. When you come in, you'll get to this welcome page, and this right here, you tell me, that's the best way to get involved. Basically, I'll put some questions in there in the post-match or pre-match and try to get your thoughts. And then if you text them in, I'll read those texts here. If you send in some audio, that'd be great too. Whatever the case may be, I'd love to have your voice as part of this, and we can talk Tottenham together. So let's just jump right into it. The first game of the week last week was Thursday. We played Ludogorets, and Ben Davies captained a 4-0 victory for Spurs. Vinicius got a brace. One was assisted by Dele, which was exciting. Got a goal for Lucas, which was also assisted by Vinicius, and a goal from Winks, which was basically a wayward cross. But 3 debutants, right? We had Alfie Whiteman, Harvey White, and 16-year-old Dane Scarlett became the youngest ever player to play a competitive game for Spurs at 16 years, 247 days. Pretty fun game to watch. So exciting to see those young guys. When Dane came on, I just thought, that looks like just a child. That is a child out on the field. And it was so cool to see that hug between him and Carlos Vinicius. So yeah, no real incidents during the game, just a solid win from start to finish. So let me just give you a little bit of my thoughts, and then we're gonna jump into some of the text submissions. And if you've got thoughts on the Ludogorets game, just get those in the chat, and I'll get to those in just a minute. So I'll tell you what, when I first saw 10 changes to the squad, I'm not a Spurs fan if I don't get a little bit nervous about that. Kind of feeling like I hope these guys can pull through, because the last time we saw such sweeping changes, I didn't feel like we played very well, and I believe it was that loss to Antwerp, which was it was just difficult. So yeah, we had Vinicius up top, Lucas, Dele, Bale, Ndombele, Winks in behind, and then Davies, Tanganga, Sanchez, and Doherty, and Hart in goal. And I was excited for Dele. I'm a fan. I think. I really hope he finds his mojo again. I don't know if icing him out like this is going to be what helps. I was a little disappointed, before the Chelsea match to see him posting. Like, I think it's because I've got, Bale on the brain. Like, I just think, man, I don't want to see him posting pictures of going golfing, 2 hours before the game or whatever. But I really hope he finds his groove, finds his heart again, and he would put in some performances that we've seen from the past. And it was good to see Tanganga again, and Winks get another chance. But man, looking at Sanchez and Tanganga as our center backs had me worried a little bit about getting the result. But and part of that concern came from the last time we played them, we won 3-1. But this was the team sheet, all right? Hart and goal again, but Doherty, Toby, Dyer, Davies, Winks, Sissoko, Lo Celso, Lucas, Bale, and Kane. All right, that is a strong side. And we only won that game 3-1. So I felt like all my worries were put to rest, though, in the first 20 minutes. Ludogorets couldn't even get it out of their half. And yeah, we're going to get to everyone else's thoughts, but I just want to share one quick thing about Harry Winks. Because as I was watching that game, I just thought that Harry Winks looks like Etienne Capoue from like 2014. You know what I mean? Like, this guy just, I would say 1 out of every 6 decisions is suspect. Like 83% of the time, he's great. He does what you would expect. But then, yeah, like 1/6 of the time, he's just dribbling out of a situation he shouldn't be dribbling. He puts a cross that's so wayward it ends up in the back of the net, right? I mean, it's funny. I'm glad for him that he scored a goal, but if I'm honest, I think this might be his last season at Spurs, and I don't think he leaves in January necessarily, but I think next summer, it'd probably be best for him to leave to go to a team that really is going to use him regularly. Yeah, and it's kind of disappointing because even though I don't rate him, I love him, right? Like, I'll never forget, I've said this before, that when he scored that goal and ran and gave Pochettino that hug, like, all the passion that he has for this club is beautiful. It's what you want for guys that have come up through the academy. And I've always got a little, spot in my heart for guys that break through from the academy to the first team. Kyle Walker-Peters. I mean, even Nabil Bentaleb, Ryan Mason, right? Like, these guys, they're our own. And so you want them to succeed. And I want Harry Winks to succeed. I just think that the club has taken a next step. And I'm not really sure, 1 out of every 6 is the next step. It's more like, you'd hope 1 out of every 20, especially in that midfield. You just don't. I'm just disappointed by that. So I just wanted to touch on him really quick because here's the thing: if we can get silverware this season, I will be so happy. Any sort of silverware. If we can get silverware with Winks playing for us, I think that guy is going to savor every glint from that trophy, more than most. Maybe more than Harry, maybe more than Daniel Levy. Like, I sometimes I feel like he loves this club so much. That's why he's trying to do stuff he shouldn't be doing. He's trying to, take a shot from so far out. You're just like, buddy, come on, man. Just pass the ball. And so anyway, just wanted to talk about that really quick. And so wanted to take a look at the chat. And we've got some comments here from Matt Hayes. What's up, man? Good to see you. So it says, tactical masterclass from Jose. It was only Ludogorets, but we struggled in the Europa League and controlled the game from start to end. Free flowing in the front of goal. 0 XG against. Nice. Yeah, I didn't realize that was 0 XG against. That definitely shows you how strong that win was. And what's up, Thomas Nation? So, did you get some in there? Massive David fan here. Awesome. Welcome. So, so I wanted to get to some of these Discord comments. And like I said, the best way to send in your comments and make sure we try to get these in on the show is to join our Discord server. You come in here and you tell me, just right here, and you tell me. And so here are some of the comments that were shared. This is from KT from India. He said, with regard to the lineup, I was surprised to see 10 changes. I was surprised to see Jaffet and Tanguy playing, and I think that's a good call. Tanguy has started in these Europa League games, and then he's, even this week, right? He started on Thursday, and then he started again on Sunday. Only played 65 beautiful minutes. But yeah, he continues. I thought the performance was really good. It was great to see the team playing on the front foot. Given that Ludogorets were sitting back, this performance can be used as a blueprint against teams who play defense against us. The two players that I really liked during the game were Tanguy and Carlos. Tanguy just looked a class apart, by far the best player on the pitch. His dribbling, passing, and feints were mesmerizing. His contribution during the second goal was commendable, dribbling almost half the pitch. He looked like no one could touch him. What a gem. I really liked Carlos' performance. I thought he looked really hungry. More to come from him, I hope. Also thought Sanchez is still lacking in confidence, though he didn't have much to do. He still managed to misplace a few passes. I think Jose needs to make a decision on him soon. And, I wonder about that, KT. Thanks so much for sending in your comments. I always appreciate them. But yeah, I think, we were in the hunt for Skriniar, but it never happened. And then we picked up Rodin, and I thought, is this an opportunity buy? Or is this the guy? And, you think if it was the guy, we would have got him in before the first deadline so that he could have played in Europe. but that didn't happen. Definitely got him for a cheaper price because of it. But yeah, who knows? Maybe in January we could seal the deal, because it doesn't look like Skriniar has played very much so far. And yeah, that would be awesome if we could really solidify what's going on back there. Yeah, Sanchez, I think he had a pretty terrible game for Colombia as well. And yeah, just disappointing because we spent so much money on the guy. And I felt like his first few times out, he really looked strong, but he has struggled since. So yeah, thanks again, KT. Next, we've got Techno Steel from the UK. He says, I think the players were playing very well. We kept possession a lot, and in the first half, Ludogorets only had 5 touches in our half. Also, they had no shots, which is amazing by our defense. They are now trying to show Jose who should stay, or try to stay, I guess, in the starting 11. My man of the match is the one and only Carlos Vinicius. He is so good. If our players give him service, he would always put the ball in the back of the net, and I'm so happy that he came to Spurs. He's very good, a very good backup to Kane. I think Winks, Tanganga, and Davidson should took their chance, because Winks bossed the midfield with Tanguy, and at some points he got in good positions to take shots, but he passed to create chances, or sometimes tried to shoot. Tanganga did well. I feel if it was Davies, he would have rushed many of his passes, and for some reason would get himself into pressure. But Tanganga was the opposite, as he was like a rock behind the midfield for his first game back, and he did very well, showing good signs. Davidson didn't do anything wrong, did all the basics. Sometimes he looked vulnerable when players came at him, but Tanganga was always there to back up. He should carry on like that and put in good performances to get back in the starting 11 in the Prem. I didn't put Dele because he was bad, but he is just starting to get back to his rhythm. Then he would push for the 11. Techno, thanks for your comments. You've shared multiple times. I really appreciate it. I think I agree with you about Carlos and Tanguy. I think they had wonderful games, but I would switch Dele and Winks. I personally, I felt like Dele had a decent game, especially that unselfish pass to Carlos. I mean, that was so beautiful to me. I just felt like, I don't know, maybe Dele of old might have tried to put that in the back of the net himself, but wide open for Carlos. And again, I still feel like Winks, he's good 83% of the time, but every 1 out of 6 he puts across so haywire, it goes in the back of the net. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So yeah, let's head back to the chat and see Lo Celso. Oh, you're talking about, yes, we're going to talk about Chelsea. We'll get to that in just a little bit. I promise. Lots to talk about there, and a lot of people had comments about that moment. So, real quick, I'm going to just take a little 90-second break here and catch up with my man David. We're going to have a little conversation about the game from Thursday, so don't go anywhere. Or maybe just, I got my coffee here. It's 7:15 in the morning here. So, grab something to drink, and we'll see you in just a second. All right, we are back, and I am super excited. We're going to have our first ever live caller. His name is David, but you may also know him as the Irish Yid. He's got a YouTube channel that's just getting started. Look at this guy, 231 subscribers. So awesome. I actually got to meet him through the Matt Hayes Tottenham blog. We were both guests. He seems to be a regular guest on that show, so if you want to check out Matt's channel as well, you should get over there. But so David, the Irish Yid, you're live, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, look, it's no problem at all. I could sit here and talk about Tottenham for hours. It's just a passion of mine, and the fact that I could turn it into a YouTube channel makes it even better. I just want to say I'm absolutely blown away by the support from everyone. I'm only up a week, and like you said, I have 231 subscribers. So look, if anyone is listening today and you're not subscribed, if you could get over and subscribe and become a member of the Harris Army, I'd be greatly appreciated.
Totally.
Look, getting on to the Ludogorets game.
Yeah.
Look, it's a game that I made no secret about. I didn't think they're any good, and it's a game I thought we should be winning easy. But look, when you're looking back on it, it was a must-win game for us in terms of the group, especially after losing to Antwerp.
Yeah.
And I actually wanted a lot of our fringe players to play, and I wanted them to play well, and I wanted them to play, basically give us the victory with a bit of confidence. And a few goals, and basically control the game, purely because we're going to need these players over the next period of games we have, especially over the Christmas periods, and we're going to need them fit, confident, and firing.
Yeah.
And also for them, it's up to them to give Jose the trust in them to pick them in the big games like the one yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But look, it was great to see Tanganga back, I have to say. I love this guy. Everything about him, even down to his injury problems, screams Ledley King to me. I honestly think he could be a centre-back for Tottenham for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And look, there's a lot of there's two players that played that, look, I've heavily criticised over the last year, purely because for me, where I want to go, they just haven't been pulling their weight in terms of Dele Alli, and Winks just is not good enough.
Yeah.
Look, it was great to see Dele Alli prove me wrong against Ludogorets. It's exactly what we want as Spurs fans when we call them out. We want them to prove us wrong.
Yeah.
And he did.
Totally.
Look, he missed out on the Chelsea game. I personally thought he was unlucky not to be on the bench. I honestly thought maybe we could see him come off. Harry Winks is another player I've called out. I just don't think the guy's good enough for where we want to go. I see you agree with me listening to you there a couple of minutes ago. For me, he just plays it too safe. He's not aggressive enough in the midfield. And anytime the guy plays, we just seem to get overrun. We can't turn ball over, and we just let them have shots on our goals.
Yeah.
Look, for me, the only reason why we didn't sell him this summer is purely because we needed him for the homegrown quota for the league and the Premier League squads to be registered.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Look, I agree with you. I honestly think Winks is a guy that's going to be gone in the summer, purely because we have enough players now to meet that homegrown quota. And especially with the likes of Harvey White, Dennis Serkin, Dane Scarlett, and Alfie Whiteman coming through. So that's not something he can live off anymore. Maybe, in my opinion, maybe he's got too comfortable living off that.
Yeah, you might be right about that. I think, one of the things I remember about him, I can't remember who it was against, but he had that injury. There was that ankle injury. Do you remember who that was against? I can't remember. I feel like it was at the new stadium. But he never seemed himself after that. Like, just a little tentative, and because even like Alistair Gold will sometimes talk about, like, the Winks of old that was playing up against Real Madrid and yada yada. But it was like, I mean, those are a long time ago, and I just don't feel like he's really. Yeah, he's not putting it in like he used to, and I think it's going to be his last season.
This is a guy that's lived off 2 or 3 performances that really stick in my memory.
Yeah.
Over 2 years of really being in and around the first 11.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not good enough. Like, as soon as Moussa Dembele went, that window, we just fell apart.
Yeah.
And Winks coming in, we just failed to score goals. We just weren't the same team, and it's been like that up until this season, until really the emergence of Ndombele this season.
Yeah, totally. Now, hey, what did you think of the 10 changes to the lineup? Were you nervous about that, or do you feel like do you feel confident in that?
No, look, I was confident enough going into it. At the end of the day, we're Tottenham Hotspurs. They're a nobody in terms of comparison to us. Like in my preview, like I said, we could have probably put the under 23s out there and bet them. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just not good. And the fact that we were able to bring on the likes of Harvey White, Alfie Whiteman, and Dane Scarlett was huge for us, because I really didn't want to have to bring on the likes of Kane and Son off the bench, purely because of the game we had last night. And look, Dane Scarlett probably should have scored with his first touch.
I know. That was so great. It was so great to see him like actually get that foot on the ball. I thought for sure that was going in the back of the net, and just didn't happen for him.
Oh man, like, to me, like, I've played up front most of the times I've played football, and to me, that's just a shot you have to hit first time when it's coming over like that. You don't really have the time to take a touch because the keeper will be rushing out on you.
Yeah.
But to me, it was great to see him so disappointed at the end. It just goes to show the mentality of the young lad, really.
Yep.
And that he really wanted to score. He really wanted to prove to Jose that he can rely on him on the bench, coming off the bench over the last 2 Europa League games. And as well, just touch on it, Alfie Whiteman, when he collected that corner, was great to see Joe Hart. Absolutely delighted for the young kid.
That was wonderful.
It just shows the camaraderie in our squad now, from the most experienced players right down to youth.
Yep.
Everyone is pulling in the one direction.
Yep.
And it's great to see. It's something we haven't seen. And just the mentality shift since we got rid of Pochettino is amazing.
Yeah. Totally. Now, which speaking of goals, which of the goals did you enjoy the most?
For me, it was Vinicius, purely just to see him get off the mark.
Yeah.
Really, he took it well.
Yep.
And look, as a striker, you need to score goals to keep your confidence ticking over.
Yep.
And he's going to have a big part to play in our cup games this year. So we need him fit and firing, really.
Totally.
And it's great to see that he's built up a nice relationship with Lucas there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you happen to catch that video of him telling his story?
Vinicius
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Lucas?
Vinicius.
No, I didn't.
Oh man, dude, it's a tearjerker. I'm telling you. Like he tells his story and he's talking with Lucas over a meal, and yeah, his story of yeah, I'll let you watch it. I won't put any spoilers, but anybody who's watching this, I'm telling you, you really should. It's all subtitles, and it's probably, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 minutes, but it's totally worth it. And you just it's kind of like you were saying about Tanganga. I don't know if you saw the Amazon Prime documentary, but I felt like, oh my gosh, just seeing a little bit of, Tanganga's background. He's, his family's all there in London. It's just, yeah, you just start to root for him in a different way. I feel like the same way about Vinicius, and to see him get 2 goals, he assisted that one to Lucas, really unselfish, play I thought there. And yeah, I'm super happy as well. I think he is a really good backup for Kane.
We've had very bad luck with strikers over the years, namely Vincent Janssen, Roberto Soldado. So it's important that we get this guy in and that it does work out, because look, our downfall over the years, and probably why we've just fell off the pace over the last couple of years towards the end of the season, especially the Champions League final, League Cup semi-finals, and FA Cup semi-finals, running in with the league there with Leicester that year.
Mm-hmm.
Just for me, it's purely because we've relied on Harry Kane and the likes of Dele Alli and stuff too much, that they were playing every game.
Yep.
So we need these players, the fringe players, to step up, and that's exactly what they've done against Ludogorets. Look, I couldn't believe Winks scored. If that was me, I would have claimed that goal. I would have been walking around the dressing room bragging about it, saying I meant it. There's no way I would have came out and said that I didn't mean it, because that would have been one that would have went down in history. That's one that you're going to see on Spurs reels for years to come. I nearly fell off my couch. I honestly couldn't believe it. It's the first time he's tried to play a ball forward and it ends up in the net. I honestly couldn't believe it.
Well, the commentary was so funny, at least in the States, because the commentator was really selling it, oh my gosh, he took a third look and he shot, and it was to hear him say at the end, no, he overhit the cross. It literally goes back to what I was saying about how he just puts a wayward pass one every 6-7 times, and thankfully for him, this time it ended up in the back of the net. But it's not going to happen every time like that. So hey, last question I got for you about Ludogorets, well, Europa, and then we'll pause this here and we'll come get you for our talk about Chelsea. But yeah, would you send out the same 11 for Lask on Thursday?
Yeah, I would. Look, again, in terms of Tottenham Hotspur, we're a big European team.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't really be able to lay a glove on us. This is a game that, even if we do send out the fringe players, or the fringe players mixed in with a couple of the young lads, it's a game we really should be winning.
Yeah.
And it's a game I want to win, because then it means going into Antwerp. If we do end up not winning that game, it's not the worst result in the world, because we'd be through. But I'd like to beat them just purely because I want to come out of the group top and get an easier draw.
Yeah.
But look, I've no doubt that the likes of Vinicius, Lucas Moura, Gareth Bale will turn up against Lask, and I honestly think we'll dispatch them easily enough. I can't see it being too much of a challenge, so I'd be happy enough to send out the same players again.
Yeah, and let's hope.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I think I would. I feel like, I think I'm a little gun shy because of what happened at Antwerp. But I understand it. I see what happened. I don't know if I mentioned this, but just the last time we had played Ludogorets, we'd thrown out Kane was on there, Højbjerg was on there, right? And we got that goal first, and then we kind of let the young guys come in. And personally, I would rather us get that strong start, and then say, okay, we've got it, all right, no big deal, because I'm in agreement with you. I want to end top of the group. I don't want to be second in the group. I know probably for Jose, he doesn't really care. He just wants to get out of the group. But yeah, I think it'll help us, as we get out of it.
Just on these Europa League games, these games that you're seeing, I firmly believe that Jose are using these games just to kind of implement tactics
Yeah.
for the Premier League games. I think that's what you're seeing. Like the likes of Ludogorets game the last time when we went up,
Uh-huh.
we kind of just sat back, and to me that was a tactic that he was trying to employ
Mm-hmm.
just in some of the Premier League games. Like you could see it, and
Yep.
then against Ludogorets last week, it was more of a test to see how we can do against teams that just sit back and
Mm.
defend 11 men behind the ball and try and catch it on the counter.
Yep.
And it just goes to show that Ndombele would be crucial when we do go out and play that sort of style of play, because the man's an absolute destroyer. He's so aggressive in midfield.
Yeah.
And look, he's quality on the ball. He sent two City midfielders for the training. Reports were saying they were still out on the pitch after the match looking for him.
Totally.
Look, the guy is head and shoulders above anyone else in our midfield in terms of ability.
Mm-hmm.
But look, yeah, these Europa League games, there's not too much I personally can take from them. I just think he's using them to implement certain type of tactics and get players used to tactics for Premier League games coming ahead.
Yep. Well, we're going to be talking about that in just a second here, man. I'm going to go quickly back to some of these Discord submissions, but stay on. I'm going to mute you, and we'll get right back to you, all right?
No problem.
All right, thanks, man. All right, yeah, so I want to talk about Chelsea because I think, that's kind of the bigger game to talk about. And, so before the game, let me do this. Before the match, I put it out to our Discord server, and I said, hey, what are people feeling? If you could sum up your thoughts about this, upcoming game. Oh, goodness, of course, I'm going to struggle to find it. Into a GIF, how would you do it? And so here were my GIF, kind of thoughts. I'm like, dude, I think we have a prayer, but let's send up a prayer. Jinty here, he was saying Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. Woodley out here chilling, dude. I was like, bruh, I don't know about chilling. Lemonade Cookie was out here biting his nails, and Bill, who we're going to hear from later on audio, had fingers crossed. I can literally see him saying something like that. So fun to kind of get everybody's thoughts in a GIF. And before seeing the team sheet, I feel like we were as ready as we'd ever been for this match, especially at Stamford Bridge. Harry, Sonny on fire. I feel like, we began the match second in the table behind Liverpool, but we had our game in hand. Chelsea was in third by 2 points. As strong as I feel about our squad, or felt about our squad, and that we've had, no Premier League losses since game one. We've had, clean sheets against West Brom and City. We've got Josie at the helm. We beat Chelsea on penalties earlier. But the big stat that just kind of looms over this match, especially at Stamford Bridge, is 1 win in 34, now 35. 1 win at Stamford Bridge in 35 matches that we played. I believe that goes all the way back to 1990. And last season, we had 2 critical losses against them, even with Jose. I had the game at a 2-2 draw before we got started. And, another interesting thing that I saw on NBC Sports was that Jose has never lost 3 times in a row to any manager. Never. That is such an amazing stat, that he has never lost 3 times in a row to any manager. He was not going to lose yesterday. So I would love to get your thoughts or feedback about the Chelsea match into the chat or into the comments. But let me share mine first really quick, and then we'll get right to you. Excited for Rodon, full debut. Serious test, to be away at Chelsea, especially Chelsea. They look like pretty good title contenders this season. I had lots of nerves beforehand, particularly around Stevie. I don't know why. I'm definitely a fan, right? I've got his jersey, got his kit right up here. But sometimes, I don't know, you just look at his face, and I feel like that the man always looks nervous or tired. And it just doesn't make me feel good. I just feel like he always looks nervous or tired to me, and I'm worried that, I don't know if it's just a look on his face. He's got a resting nervous face. He's got a resting tired face. But yeah, and he didn't play terrible. He didn't play well. He had that great opportunity and just put it over the top. But, and I think David said this already, that Tanguy Ndombele, I mean, he's like a new signing, right? Because we didn't see him much last season. And this guy is so good. I was chatting with somebody on Twitter. His name is Simon. He was saying this guy must be an amazing poker player, the way he can bluff and read minds. And I think that's just such a great way to say it. I think he sells every movement and every motion. People buy what he's selling. And he just carves up every midfield three, is just in his back pocket. The guy's just absolutely incredible. So I wanted to get some audio. I wanted to get some text files in. And actually, we got our first audio clip sent into us by Hollie. And if you don't know Hollie, you got to check out her page as well. Hollie Hotspurs. She's got a YouTube channel, and she's trying to get to 600 subscribers by Christmas. All right, she's 17 away. I think we can do it. Let's help her out. And yeah, she had her thoughts to share. And so let me pull those up right here, and we'll have a listen to what she had to say.
Chelsea versus Tottenham at the Bridge is always a feisty one. This one, however, was cagey throughout, from start to finish. As a Spurs fan, you stress out throughout the whole game, but today was especially one of those days. I think it's because I had a lot riding on it. If we get a point, we go top. If we get 3 points, we just edge away, and it's a big statement to the rest of the league.
Okay, so that comment about really winning this game and really going top, being a statement to the league, I really had hoped that we would make that statement. And, I'll share my thoughts in just a second, but let's keep listening to Hollie.
With Toby being out with obviously his injury, he's always the man I look to guard that back line. But today it was Rodon's chance, and I think he played okay. With no Toby, we see that Rodon slipped in to sit next to Eric Dyer. And to be fair to him, I thought he had an okay game. He was obviously a bit jittery, but I think anybody would be, being in his shoes. There was 2 slip-ups I think he had, but we managed to be calm and cool and collective and managed to get away with Chelsea not scoring.
Yeah, I think that's it's going to help his confidence, even though, he did have those. I think there were 2 kind of major mistakes. Even though he had those, the clean sheet's still there, and he can say that his first full debut was a clean sheet. I think he'll take that to heart. Hopefully it'll help him build his confidence. Let's keep going.
First half was probably the best half for us. I think second half we kind of stepped off the gas a bit and let Chelsea have too much of the ball. First half, I thought we made good use of our counter-attacking play. Like I said, Bergman had a couple of chances. I don't think Bergman probably played his best today. No. I would have liked to seen Lucas come on before him, but nevertheless, I thought we did okay.
So I don't know if you mean before him, meaning instead of him, but yeah, I felt like Lucas should have been brought on earlier, or at all. I mean, I thought he should be brought on for Stevie B. I really wanted to go for the win, but obviously Jose, he's going to be a little more reserved, especially away. Doesn't want to lose the game. Let's continue.
I think second half Chelsea played a lot better. They made a lot of changes for Havertz and Giroud. I think when Giroud came on, he looked a bit more clinical compared to Tammy Abraham. There was a lot of chances for Tammy in the first half, and he just didn't really finish his dinner. Reece James was putting some lovely balls on, and like I said, I think Rodon really did step up to the mark today because his clearance and headers were exceptional. Like I said, I still think Toby's the man right now, but I can see a bright future for him ahead. So yeah, it's not the best game, not the worst game. We get a point. We're still top of the league, which is really nice after the weekend.
Yes.
And hopefully gaining that momentum, keeping another clean sheet will take a good step into both our Europa game and the big North London derby next week. So after today, I'm feeling very happy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm feeling very happy, but I'm happy with the result, not the performance. But yeah, thanks so much, Hollie. And again, totally check out her page. Help her get to 600 subscribers by Christmas. I know she would love it. But let me give you some of my thoughts about this match. So overall, when I watched it, I thought, I was okay with this draw. But after sleeping on it, I just feel like I'm kind of disappointed in the performance. I think we're better than that. And I don't know if it was nerves or caution, but we just never hit our stride at any point in the game. And Rodon, You know, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but in the first minute, he made a good step 2, got a great interception. But I was actually nervous about that because it felt like to me, you know, he's too eager. And, you know, obviously some of those jitters, he's nervous, of course, but he did all right. You know, I was thinking if Sanchez was in there, what would I have thought? And I would have thought, never play Sanchez again. So, you know, of course, I think I'm being a little bit biased. It's his full debut. I'm giving him a little bit more grace. I don't know. But, you know, some of those mistakes he made were scary. And you don't want to see stuff like that again. So also notice, you know, the first 10 minutes, Chelsea was really pressing our back line pretty high up. And we would only press to about center, maybe center circle. And then about 10 minutes, Chelsea dropped off back to like the center circle for a press. And I felt like the game kind of calmed down right there. Reguilon had an amazing nutmeg. I don't know. I didn't find any clips of it, but if someone would send me the clip, I would love that. And can you imagine? I mean, this is another reason to get Dele back on the pitch, right? Dele nutmegging, Reguilon nutmegging. I mean, just the... Yeah, I would love to see the two of them just disrespecting midfielders and defenders, just looking for that meg and obviously getting the win. That's what matters most, but it's fun to see that. And again, I said this already, but Tanguy Ndombele, I mean, that move at the end here, I'll just show that clip again. You know, that just at the very end, he throws his foot over and back and he's bringing the ball through. He just made them, they look like little kids next to him. And he is a big man and I'm excited. But I felt like, you know, other than Tanguy, I don't know if anybody else was at the race, you know. The second half was tougher to watch than the first half for me. Just had no bite, nothing in the final third to speak of, except for the Lo Celso, you know, error. I don't know, lack of... just losing his brain. I don't know where he was putting that ball. I don't know who that was to. I don't know if he thought somebody was coming around, you know, on the other side, but just disappointing to see that. And obviously it was disappointing for the whole team. You know, had that clip at the very beginning, just having Jose Mourinho tell that the locker room was not happy.
Our dressing room is not a happy dressing room, and that is a great thing.
And I agree. I think that is a very great thing. You know, it goes back to that Amazon Prime docuseries where you could see fire. You know, there's just fire. You can't do that stuff anymore. If we want to take that next step, you can't. That's not okay. We cannot be settling for those kinds of mistakes. So, yeah, about the 75th minute, I think it was pretty obvious we were playing for a draw. And I was on the Discord call with Jinty, and we're going to hear from him in a little bit. But yeah, he was predicting the future because we were on this call and he's like, yeah, Stevie B's coming off for Ben Davies. And I was like, what? For real? You think so? And sure enough, it happened. And this guy has been on point with predicting subs. He's just in the mind of Jose Mourinho. And hats off to him because I can never seem to make it happen. So yeah, let's check out the chat really quick. Yeah, Lo Celso, eyes lit up yesterday, of course. Tanguy is class. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, hey, Hollie, what's up? We just listened to your audio. Thanks for joining on your lunch break. So yeah, we're going to get to the Discord chat, and I just thought I'd share some of these submissions. First, we have Ryan from Bangladesh. He says, I don't know where to start. The lads played well, to be honest. We've seen some great individual works on defense, and unacceptable teamwork on the other side of the pitch. I am not disappointed as well as disappointed. Disappointed because we made some really good chances. For some reason, we couldn't score. Some good saves by Mendy, bad decision from Lo Celso and stoppage, and many more. Jose kept a tactical mind, and we played in a balanced way. Some really good defensive work we saw today. Couldn't agree more about how well Rodon played in his debut game. Yes, he made mistakes, but in a debut, that's a really good performance overall by him. And again, Hugo proved how great he is. Some beautiful saves by Hugo. For me, he was the man of the match. I hoped we would win it, but I accept the draw. However, we are still at number one. Big schedule in front of us, and I'm waiting. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah. So thanks so much, Ryan, for sending that in. Next, we have Woodley from England. He says, I think that Chelsea could have won that game. So for us to salvage a point from it, I think it was great overall. Very happy with the game. Rodon looked very nervy at times, but after a while, he seemed more comfortable in the game. Definitely put on a better performance than Sanchez would have. Rodon made mistakes. Don't get me wrong, but they weren't huge. 100% Rodon in the North London Derby. All right, that's a hot take. I love it. 100% Rodon in the North London Derby. I want to sell Sanchez in January, and that will help fund Skriniar. I think Chelsea fans would argue that they deserve to win, but their chances look terrible. They did not deserve to win, but neither did we. If I'm honest, a draw is a good result. To come from Man City and Chelsea with 4 points, yeah, I'm happy, and the boys should be proud. Yeah, Woodley, I agree with most of all that, and I definitely think the end, as we thought about these games, City, Chelsea, Arsenal coming up, if you just said, if we come out of this with 7 points, it's going to feel really good, and I think we should at this point. So next, we've got another submission from Archie G111. He says, I think Chelsea had 2 good chances, and so did we. We were solid in defense, and on the counter should have been up 1 in the first, but they could have scored in the second, so a draw is fair, and we stay top. Let's bring on Arsenal and Arteta. Dun, dun, dun. Lastly, dude, this one made me laugh so hard. All right, so some thoughts. Press F to pay respect to Sanchez. Rodon is better. F's in the chat, fam. F's in the chat. Yeah, so I think we're going too defensive, but, job done. First place again. But I get why Mourinho put Sonny on the right when he played against City, because Kyle Walker is better than Cancelo. But against Chelsea, I think Sonny should have been on the left side because Ben Chilwell is better than Reece James. That was Ravenger from the Discord server. Everyone, thanks so much for sending those in and for getting in on those comments. If you want to be a part of it, I would love to have you in our Discord server. There'll be a link in the description. You can join the conversation. So, we're going to go back to David in just a second here. I'm going to take a little 10-second break. 10-second break just to get things going there. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. We've got David, the Irish Yid, with us. Again, you should check out his channel over there. He's just gotten started. Let me see. Let me show this to you here. Just gotten started a week ago, 231 subscribers. He's such a fun conversation partner. I will say that. It's been great talking to him this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about Chelsea. David, what were your initial thoughts about the game?
Look, in my opinion, it's 1 point gained instead of 2 points dropped. If you look at the league table, Liverpool were ahead of us. In fairness, they actually dropped points against Brighton. That was a game they were expected to win. So, look, going into the game, me and Matty Hayes done a preview on my channel, and we said we'd take a draw. We really did. I'd be happy with a draw. Look, it's not a ground we've gone to over the years, and we've had good results from. Like you said, 1 in 36, I think you said. Yeah. And look, it's a tight pitch, and it's a game they always show up against us. But look, we got the point. We're back top of the league, and look, I know a lot of fans are disappointed we didn't go out there and attack them. Look, me too. I'm included. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we were very poor yesterday. It was a poor performance, in my opinion. Dyer was very sloppy.
Yeah. Did you remember that one pass? That one pass, he just passes straight to them. And I was like, I thought for sure they were going to score. I can't remember if that wasn't the one where Rodon, had a weak header. But yeah, I just felt like, I wanted better from Dyer, especially, he's got Rodon right next to him. It's his debut. That was really a time for Dyer to shine. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're all good. I love hearing your input. Look, in terms of Dyer, this is a guy that we all said was done at Tottenham. Yeah. Even before Mourinho came in, even under Pochettino's era. But look, he's completely turned his game around. So look, I'm going to give him a pass on yesterday. It's one game. Look, against City, he was absolutely immense. So I'm going to give him a pass on yesterday. Look, like I said, we were very sloppy. Our final ball was very poor yesterday. It was lacking. Bergwijn, for me, he was poor yesterday. I thought maybe if Gareth Bale was playing instead of him, we might have had a bit more luck. But also on the other side of it, Harry Kane, for me, was dropping too deep. yesterday. There was no one in the box to put the ball into. There was no attacking outlet. And for me, Ndombele, this guy in the first half was absolutely world class. He was head and shoulders above everyone else. He was men against boys. And as soon as he kind of faded and got tired, I thought we went out of the game. And from then on, I honestly thought I would have been delighted with a point. Mourinho would have been delighted with a point. And his substitutions even says that with bringing on Ben Davies and Lucas Moura. Look, it's a game where we played Joe Rodon. To us Spurs fans, he's much of an unknown quantity, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally.
We don't know too much about him. And the fact that he comes in against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, where it's not being a happy hunting ground for us, we keep a clean sheet. We get out of there with a point. We absolutely robbed them yesterday. I make no mistakes about it. This point hurts them more than it hurts us.
Yeah,
they're the home team. Yeah, they're the ones that are trying to catch us.
Totally.
And over previous years, you've seen us lose these games. And at the end of the season, playing these big teams away and not losing and then beating them at home is what wins you the title.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Especially when we got that clean sheet against City, now a clean sheet against Chelsea. Wasn't pretty, but 2 clean sheets, 3 clean sheets, I think, when you go back to West Brom. So I think that's really good. So would you take Rodon over Sanchez for the North London derby?
Yeah, for me, look, Sanchez is a guy, time and time again, I've put my trust into, and he's let me down.
Yeah.
He just tends to have moments of lapse of concentration. And for me, look, when United played Ajax in the Europa League final that time, that Mourinho openly came out in the press and said that's a guy he targeted.
Yeah.
To try and win the game. So obviously, in my opinion, Mourinho doesn't have much use for him, and I'd like to see him offloaded and then go and get maybe Skriniar, who we're heavily linked with, or Upamecano out of Leipzig with his release clause. Look back on the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Sissoko, a lot of people wanted to see Ndombele, Højbjerg and Lo Celso. But when you're playing these bigger teams away, you're always going to see Sissoko. And in my preview show, I said you're going to see Sissoko purely play a role tomorrow. And I don't know if it's something that many Spurs fans picked up on, but anytime Aurier bombed forward, Sissoko kind of dropped in beside Rodon just to help him out.
Totally.
And as well, he doubled up with Aurier against Timo Werner and kept him very quiet. Like, we have to remember, Chelsea had the most goals in the league going into this game.
Yep.
And to keep a clean sheet against them on their home ground.
Yeah.
And basically with Sissoko playing a certain role in the team yesterday, for me, it's absolutely perfect. We robbed them. We got out of there with a point. We're top of the league, and we roll on next week to the scum. I actually have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Just in terms of next week.
Yeah.
If we beat Arsenal convincingly, especially after their loss yesterday, do you think Arteta will be sacked?
So you know what's interesting about that? So I think it's been a year since he was hired. And I was thinking about their year and our year.
They could have went for Mourinho at the
totally,
same time we did.
Totally. Well, that's what I mean. It's like we got Mourinho and y'all got Arteta. Sorry for laughing so hard. I just think, dude, for you, that sucks. I mean, just the year that they've had, there's just different levels right now. And, I don't know if he gets sacked. I think they'll give him longer. It's kind of like Ole, right? Like, he just keeps getting these chances and chances because he played for him. And it's hard to sack a guy that played for you. And so I think they give him a little bit more time.
But you know what? I really hope the likes of United and Arsenal do keep trusting in the process, because it's not going very well for them. So I hope they stay deluded and keep trusting in the process.
Totally.
Before the City game and the Chelsea game, if I would have said to you that we'd come out with 4 points and 2 clean sheets, you would have snapped my hand off.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'd have taken it. Totally would have taken it. And when you look at the amount of points that we can still get, the 5 games after the international break, I think I'll just speak for myself. I was concerned. We lost to Everton, haven't lost since. But, coming into these games right after international break, if we didn't really hit the ground running right away against City, I was going to be a little nervous. I think we did hit the ground running. yesterday was a little bit shaky, but I've got a lot of confidence going into this North London derby, and I feel like we'll do well. Man, I thank you so much for being on this. We got a couple more things to get to. Always a pleasure chatting. Last time we were on, Matt Hayes. Just thanks so much, and we'll get you on here another time, and I'd love to participate with you as well.
Yeah, look, thanks very much for having me on. I love your show.
Yeah, thanks.
And if there's any of my supporters out there that are watching and haven't subscribed, make sure you get over and subscribe to Let's Talk Tottenham. And also, let's give Hollie Hotspurs a Christmas wishing. Get over there and subscribe to her.
Yes.
Get her to 600 subscribers before Christmas.
That'd be awesome.
Come on, you Spurs.
Hey.
Let's slap the scum all around North London next week.
Let's do it. Come on, you Spurs. Thanks, man. All right.
Come on, you Spurs!
Feels so good. I love talking with that guy. Such a pleasure. Knowledgeable, fun. Great question there at the end, and fun always to laugh a little bit about the Arsenal. So lastly, I wanted to just get to a couple more audio clips that I've got here. I got to end right at 8 o'clock. But we got an audio submission from Jinty from Scotland. You've heard his voice before. You might have even seen his face on a previous video. Here's what he had to say.
So for your first question, I'd have to say it was a bit of a mixed bag. I feel I am more of a naive optimist than some of the people in the Discord server. A lot of the fans out there, as I feel a lot of them would have been happy taking a point away from that game beforehand. And just the feeling of keep going, keep grinding these wins out, keep riding this wave, and keep proving doubters wrong about the start of the season and how much we were disrespected. So I just wanted to beat every big team.
Yeah.
Watching the game, though, and then after the game, that's a different story. I feel I'm just glad we didn't lose. For Joe Rodon's debut, I would have to give him a 5 out of 10. He made some good clearances and tackles, but there was a lot of mistakes that I could see, especially the big one at the end where he tried to head it back to Lloris and seems to have the neck of a baby. It just
seems to have a neck of a baby.
1 foot in front of him. Ends perfect pass to the Chelsea. I don't know who it was. The other reason it's made me not give him a higher rating is I was a bit surprised and disappointed at how easily he was bullied when fighting for the ball, especially for being a boy who's 6'4" and is
he's huge.
League, and Championship is quite a physical league as well. I definitely think he has to hit the weights. However, all that said, I would still have him on the pitch rather than Sanchez. But it's more of a feeling that Sanchez is in an awful form in the Prem, and Rodon is just better than him. It's more leaning towards Sanchez being terrible than Rodon being good. That makes sense.
Yep.
So your last question about who do you think deserved to win? Definitely feel it was 2 points lost by Chelsea rather than Spurs losing them. If Lo Celso had scored or assisted at the end, the news talk would have been about how that was a Chelsea smash and grab, but that wasn't to be at the end. To end things on a positive note, though, I think Alex in the chat said a good point that was Chelsea's best team, and the fact is that was the worst I've seen Spurs since the start of the season. So to come out with a draw it's a silver lining.
Totally. Jinty, as always, man, it's great to talk together. This is the Jinty that called the Stevie B for Ben Davies substitution. He seems to have Jose's number when it comes to what number is going to come up for substitutions. Just always appreciate your level-headedness and your honest opinions, man. Super appreciate you sending that audio in. Now, just one more audio, just kind of wrap up our time together. We've got one more submission from Bill. He's out in the Netherlands. And, we're out here in West Michigan. And there's a lot of Dutch out here. We've even got Holland, Michigan on the lake. So here's Bill's thoughts on Chelsea.
Morning. So, where to start with this London derby? Pleased overall, obviously, because we didn't concede and didn't drop points, really, I don't feel. We could have won it at the end with that weird cross shot from Lo Celso. I wasn't really sure what it was.
Yeah, dude, I have no idea.
No, overall, very pleased. Very pleased. I think it's one victory in like 36 visits to Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I think it's 35, but doesn't matter. Too many.
To come away with a point, it is pleasing. We're still top of the league. There were times when we could have nicked it, or we could have scored a goal. I'm thinking of Auria's thumping shot, but unfortunately it went straight into Mendy. Bergwijn had a couple of good chances, but it did feel like a bit of an off day.
Yeah.
But then again, it does also feel like Chelsea had a bit of an off day. Ziyech wasn't performing particularly well. Giroud could have scored with that late header, but he also just headed it straight into the arms of Lloris. So all in all, I don't feel too disappointed. Obviously, it would have been great to have got 3 points, but I do feel like that would have gone slightly against play, particularly in the second half.
Yeah,
it felt like Spurs were under the cosh. We were defending heavily. I felt in the second half, lots of crosses coming in from Chelsea, and I was slightly nervous that from the 75th minute onwards, Chelsea could have nicked it.
Oh, totally. Well, that's what I was saying. At the 75th minute, it just seems so obvious we were playing for a draw, and you're just glad that we held on.
So the most important thing is not to let Chelsea get the 3 points, really. I said last week I'd be happy with a point. And that's what we got, and we're still at the top of the table.
Yep.
So not too disappointed. I'm feeling good.
Good.
I'm looking forward to the North London derby next week, because I think the Spurs players will be hungry.
That's true.
As Jose said in his interviews, post-match interview, there was people who were angry in the dressing room,
not happy.
And I think that's a good sign. It is. We've been speaking a lot about this season, about a change in mentality, and that seems to be increasingly more and more evident under Mourinho. We're not willing just to settle for a point, or we're going into games wanting to win. Totally. We'll take a point, but we're going in there wanting to get all three. And I'm confident we'll get all three in the Europa League match on Thursday.
Let's go.
And more importantly, we're going to get all three against Arsenal next
yes.
week, because they look shocking at the moment.
It's true.
And I just think we're going to just have too much strength for them. I think we're better in every part of the field. Every part of the pitch, we've got better players, and I just don't see them being able to contain us the way that Chelsea did.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be different. I don't think we're going to sit back like we did for the Man City and Chelsea game.
No.
I think we're going to take the game to Arsenal.
I agree.
We're at home, and we're going to put them to the sword. So
Feels
I
good.
can see maybe 3-0 or 4-1 next
Ooh,
week.
That's a hot take. Chat, you guys, 3-0 or 4-1. What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, Arsenal are going to be in the mud.
Yeah.
So that's my analysis. That's my little post-match thoughts.
Yes.
Come on, you Spurs.
Hey, come on, you Spurs. Love it, love it. Yeah, so going back to the chat really quick, then I got to run here. Let's see. Do you think 6 clean sheets in 9 games is down to Jose and Ledley King? That's a great question. Yeah, sometimes I forget Ledley's right there, Yeah, I think the combination of the two of them together is perfect. Let's see here. I'd have Rodon over Sanchez 100%. I think a lot of people agree on that one, and I feel for him. But yeah, I think his time is pretty much up. Hardham, yeah, we were all nervous with the run of games, but getting them done one by one. That's what Jose's been saying, getting them done one by one, right? It's like, get this win. That we are contenders to win the next game. I loved how he said that. I think that is the greatest way to explain it. We are not contenders for the league right now. We are not contenders for Europa right now. Just like focus on one game at a time. We'll get there in the end. Yeah, could have all gone wrong for Rodon if Giroud had made a better contact. Can you imagine if we lost because of him? Yeah, that would have been a terrible terrible way to have a debut. But like I said, I think because we kept the clean sheet in the end, if it was Sanchez in there that made those mistakes, we wouldn't have nearly this much grace. So anyway, guys, this was so much fun. Thank you to David, thank you to Hollie, thank you to Jinty and Bill and everyone else who sent in the text submissions. For those of you that have been a part of this chat, it's been so fun to do this. We're going to be on again next Monday, 7 a.m. live like this again. So join our Discord server, subscribe to my channel, get in on the chat. I would love for you to be a part of this. And yeah, hopefully we'll be talking about 2 more victories. And as ever, it was great talking with you.